Hi there, I'm Lanna Monday, and I'm back with Ramy, author of Think Really Think and Grow Rich. How are we doing today, Ramy?
I'm doing great. How are you today?
Doing wonderful, and we are continuing our discussion on chapter 3 of your book. And just as a refresher, for those of you who don't know who Ramy is a businessman, he's an investor, he's a philanthropist, he has many, many hats that he wears, an author, so many different things, but his story is absolutely amazing. And just to give a little tiny bit of the backstory, when Ramy was 12 years old, he left home and came to the United States, went to Tampa. He was homeless for several years. And now he is a very, very prominent, successful, and wealthy businessman. So Ramy, tell us just a little bit about your background and how that you came across Think and Grow Rich, and then we will delve right into your next chapter.
Yeah, I picked up that book, or actually it was given to me when I was 12, 13 years old. And I really read that book over and over again. And it gave me all the principles to succeed in life. And I believed everything it said. I was young enough, dumb enough to believe everything it said. I wasn't that world yet. So
feels like to me you're pretty smart.
Yeah, I got smart because of it, but it's almost like Forrest Gump, because he didn't think anything was impossible, when they said, join the army, sure, you want to go in the shipping boat business, sure. To him, there was no impossibility, and he believed what was on. So it helps to not fully know too much before you start out, because the world is full of negative stuff. So I picked up a book and started, and went Tampa homeless, and by the age 17 made the first million in I guess the third or fourth business I tried. And the next chapter, the chapter I'm talking about now, delves into me losing it, because it's a great story. There's a lot of you read the story how people made it and everything, but the next chapter shows that you could lose everything. And it was my first time of losing everything again, back to homelessness and starting over again. So it shows that that's not an excuse. All failures are temporary. And so I was back in the streets, and I was looking for the next opportunity. And I was walking, and I walked by this body shop, and I walked in there, talked to the guy, and I saw a guy who brought in 3 cars, and I was wondering why he was fixing 3 cars, and he was telling me about how he bought cars from one auction and sold it to another auction, made his money. So I go about talking about a couple of things I learned. One, about using other people's money, and also about shifting this in this chapter a lot. So before I was trying to build on my own. So I realized that if I want to do the same thing, I thought it was a good idea. I didn't have the money to buy those cars. I approached somebody that I met from the Zares experience. That was a police officer that needed money. He worked 3 jobs. He had big family support, and I convinced him to put up the money to buy the cars, and I give him the title, and I do all the work, and we split the profits 50-50. So that was a big principle I learned for the rest of my life. When I ever worked, raised money to start businesses and build businesses, and then I would split the upside with whoever the investor is. And so I bought the first few cars, and they made money, and I wanted to get aggressive and grow really fast. Again, I know much about business. I started buying cars with total titles, didn't know they were worth a lot less, was starting to lose money on the cars I was reselling, and I was again on my last leg. And then this is where I talk about shifting also. You got to shift your model, shift what you're doing. I've done that a lot in my life, where I started and I thought a business model was right and stuff, and I had to shift it to make it work. And so I was my last, it was a pickup truck that I built, and I saw a man who was looking at it. So I tried to sell him the truck, but he didn't want to buy it. But he talked all about, what he does. He built custom vans. So he needed van shells. And those van shells were very scarce back then, because the EPA just changed the rules on the automakers. They want to bring the average mileage down. So the automakers, to average down their mileage, they built less trucks and built a lot more small cars. So the vans were less readily available. And at the same time, there was a big rage going on, and especially in Florida, custom vans were really big back then. So the demand was there, but the shortage of vans. So I said, if you find me vans, I'll buy them from you and give you $600 a van for every van that you buy. and fine. So I go through the story where I just said I could do that. So again, it took me a little bit. I called every single dealership across Florida and found some in the panhandle of Florida. He had 11 vans that just came in, and I committed to them, risk, wrote a back check. I wanted to get those vans, get them, and get the money and put it in the bank before that check hit. So there's a long story behind all that, but I didn't make it. Got there, and he did buy those vans, and I didn't have a way back, so I took one of the custom vans he had that he built, and took a Tampa, and I sold it to a dealership. And while I was selling it to the dealership, I was going to make $500-600 on that too. I saw them selling that van for $67,000 profit, and made extra money in insurance
Oh,
and financing. And I saw they made $10,000 on a van that I made only 600 on. So I realized that the money was in dealerships,
right.
and I think I need to open up a dealership. And that's another one of the big principles I learned, and I also put a key in the book is when you want something, or you want to have people do something for you, you got to think who will win by you winning. If you're thinking that's right, okay, because you can't ask a stranger, nobody will benefit from something, and you're just saying, okay, who will win if I win? Who will win if I own a dealership? And it hit me, the guy who manufactures the vans, and I would love to have one place where you could make,
Yeah,
doesn't have run around, sell the vans around the country and make more money on the vans.
right.
So I talk about how I went to Hartwell, Georgia, and talked to the guy, the manufacturer of the van, and he wasn't receptive. He even had a shotgun when I got there.
Oh,
Yeah, real redneck kind of a place. And then I had to calm him down, and then it took me a whole day. But by the time I was done explaining to him the benefits of having that dealership, he wrote me a check for $1 million, and supplied me all the vans to open up the first dealership.
oh,
And from there, I built 6 dealerships, and I started an insurance company. I bought real estate. So by the time I was 23, again, I was broke at 19 from being a millionaire at 18. By the time I was 23, I was worth $50 million from
oh,
all the dealerships. So all that was just part of again, not looking at any defeat as more than temporary defeat, and that
right,
there's no excuses. Just because you failed, you can't do it again. It was
right.
just an opportunity to look at it. And another quote that Think and Grow Rich uses, which is really important, I use it all the time also, is through every adversity there's a seed of equal and greater benefit.
Absolutely. Yep,
So the adversity of me losing that business gave me the seed of equal benefit of starting the van business I did that built
sure.
me 50 million in wealth. Just like if you lose a girl that you were dating and you were in love, that adversity, you met the next girl that you fell in love with and married.
Yep.
So it's really, there's
Right,
no adversity that is really, or failures that are permanent.
right.
They are really a good out of every bad. I've never had an adversity that didn't turn out to be something better at the
Yeah,
end of the day.
right,
So so adversity and stuff like that, it's actually just a way to shift your life. It's a way to, okay, it's time to change something in your life. It's time to do something different that's even bigger and better. So you don't get stuck. So look at adversities or bad things that happen as a good thing, because that's
right,
just a sign saying, okay, now it's time for you to do something else. Yeah. So
right.
that's a lot what I focus on in that chapter, and I learned that are 3 very important principles of how to use other people's money, how to think of people who will win if you win,
Hmm.
and shifting, and also look at adversity as a positive thing in your life.
Right. And it dovetails very nicely because in chapter 2, you were talking about filling a need. And then it
Right.
really shows the true benefit of that. And then it also shows how that, it's almost like a mastermind in a way, because when you were talking about the gentleman with the bands that built
Right.
the bands, because I'm sure that there was like some mastermind collaboration in
Right.
there.
Right.
Absolutely awesome. Wonderful story. We can't wait to hear more. So, folks, if you are interested in getting a copy of Ramy's book, Can You Really Think and Grow Rich? It is on his website, and it is canyourreallythinkandgrowrich.com. And he has a wonderful opportunity now where you can get a copy of his book plus a hard copy of the original 1937 edition, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And it's really handy to have these both together because Ramy quotes Hill a whole lot in his book. And you can actually go and find many, the quotes that he uses in Think and Grow Rich. So thank you for that, Ramy. We appreciate that. And we are looking forward to discussing your next chapter, chapter 4, when we come back. Thanks so much for joining us. And thank you.